Okay, Coach, if you want to start us with an opening statement.
Sure. Yeah, I would say exactly what I just said in the end of game huddle. This point of the season, it's about surviving and advancing, and you can win ugly, but a win's a win, and we have to be proud of that. I do think there were things against us today, but what we are most proud of is that they stuck together. We problem solved throughout the game. It wasn't our cleanest, but I think everybody saw what happened after the Louisville game at the start of the ACC tournament, so I have faith. But overall, just really proud with a good win. I think Sietske, the reason why she's sitting next to me, I think she was all over the field. She had a phenomenal game. I think Charlie had an amazing game as well. And everybody else, obviously had a role in the win, but those two guys stood out for me. And yeah, we're looking forward to just scouting this next game, seeing who will play on Sunday, and grateful for another day in the Carolina Blue.
Questions?
Coach, do you kind of take away when it's a grind like that? Does it help you moving forward?
Yes, definitely. I think it's not the first time you guys have heard me say it, but I think this program's proven that we know how to learn from wins. And even though this was a win, the vibe in the huddle, the looks on all the girls' faces, I think that was the best part about today, is that not one person was smiling after an NCAA tournament first round win, because they know they have more in them. So I think even though it's a win, it feels heavier than that, and based on past experiences and just how determined and competitive these guys are, I think it's always a good thing. So you don't aim for it to happen, but it's all about your response, right?
And if I could ask you to recall kind of last year, Final Four, losing to St. Joe's, what were kind of the emotions coming into today's game, especially with returners on that team?
Yeah, there were definitely emotions with today. And I think all season long we've leaned into those emotions in whatever game or magnitude they are. And I think this group responds well to that. So the message today was, if you were here last year, no need for explanation. You guys have your own business to take care of, and those of you who are new, they all bleed Carolina Blue, so there's a part of ownership with that too, and they want it for all of their teammates. So we were pretty clear with lean into that emotion, because this group does well with that, and just finding the motivation in anything, and I think it feels pretty good to be on the other side of it this year for sure.
And Sietske, what were you seeing from St. Joe's today, especially on that defensive end towards the start of that game?
I think they came out with a lot of fire, which we expected them to do. They have a good defensive unit, I think, and they were swarming us all over the ball, and I think it took us a little bit to get into that flow of playing around their swarming of the ball and stuff, and I think it took us too long to recognize that and change what we were doing, but in the end we did change it, and I think we just fell back on what we had practiced, what we know we can do, and I think if we can beat it like this in a not so pretty way, then that's a good sign. So
yeah, and for you, what were kind of your emotions throughout the game, and how do you think y'all were sort of able to find that offensive rhythm towards the end of the game?
I think I always believed it's okay, and I think there needs to be a good balance between it's okay, we got it, and also being it's not okay, we need to change it, but not freaking out. And I think we made a shift at some point, and I think everyone believed the entire game that we were okay. We just had to change some actions, and we were good, like Erin said, problem solving, pointing out what we needed to change and changing it, and it wasn't pretty, but we ended up doing it. So.
Mm-hmm. And for you, what were the emotions facing St. Joe's, especially after last year?
Well, obviously, I was excited to play them again. There's something unresolved there. So that was it was a good game. I think it was a great start to the NCAA tournament to have a game like this that has a lot of emotion in it, and to prepare you for the rest of the games as well. And it was obviously a tough game, but the emotions in the fight and wanting to get that revenge and then coming out on the opposite side, like Erin said, is a good feeling.
Yeah. And for either of y'all, what was kind of going into that fourth quarter like? What did the huddle look like? What was kind of the discussions, and did anything kind of stick out about? I know you said everyone was focused even after the game winning. They're still focused, ready to move on. What did kind of that look like?
Yeah, I think the score helped us going into the fourth quarter a little bit. It gave us an easy story of it's 0-0, it's a new game. And it was just going to be about, like Siet said, going back to our game plan, our strengths, playing Carolina field hockey, but also giving it your all for 15 minutes. 1-1 is the same as 0-0. So it was all about winning that fourth quarter. We trained that situation and just that scenario, and we were fully confident in everybody, but they needed to execute, and I think they really came together very nicely in the fourth quarter and did that. And then, of course, Charlie Bruder stepping up in a big moment. Again, there were so many moments from Sietske and everybody out there to get the ball in that position and create opportunities, but it takes one of them to put it away, and Charlie constantly steps up, so we're really proud of her.
Yeah, if you could talk about her goal a little bit, and you, Sietske, as well, just kind of what y'all were seeing there, and obviously Charlie's role as a whole on this team.
Yeah, I think we have trust in her. She's a natural goal scorer. You guys have seen that since she stepped foot on campus, and that's not always something you can teach, just for somebody to know exactly where the net is at all times. And she finds a way to put it in. She's very skilled, and I think, we've talked in previous interviews of her becoming an even more well-rounded player and adding more tools to her arsenal. But her shots and goal-scoring abilities, they've always been there. So in moments, we are lucky where we have multiple people we can turn to and say, I trust you to put it away. But Charlie will definitely always be one of those people.
You just talk about your back end there, especially the chaotic ending there when they had the goalie out. Your goalies have stepped up, but your defensemen back there have been solid as well. Just the impression you have of those guys.
Yeah, I think Sietske can talk about it a little bit too, but from looking from our first game this season to see how far we've grown with defense is really promising and encouraging and rewarding. We spent a lot of time and energy on it and worked hard at it, and not that we haven't done the same on attack, but we knew this season that was going to have to be an area of focus. And I think it's one thing for us as a coaching staff to want it and to create drills and put them in the environment, but it's a two-way street, and these guys need to lean into it and embrace it and be coachable, and that's what they've been all season long. So we're seeing all of their hard work pay off in some of these really close games, and also in the games where we're winning comfortably, because we have organization back there. And I think there's always elements of the games you can improve, and same on the attacking front, but with Grace, Belle, and Hope, and then Coco or Seats rolling back there too on top of the two goalkeepers. Like I said, it's just been very promising to see how far they've come, and I think as a whole unit, we have a lot of trust in them now, even more than at the start of the season. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I think we've made massive steps in the defense, and I think part of it's just a mentality, and we've installed a mentality in each other's brains, and I think also the trust and everyone knowing their role and everyone executing their role. And I think a big thing for us is communication, and you've seen every single player on the entire field stepping up as the goalies, talking the entire game, which is, I think, a really big part in defense. So that's a big step we've made, and we continue growing every game.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Hi, thank you
you.
guys.
You want to share right there?
Battle today. I think our girls were ready, they were hungry, they were prepared, they believed, and they did everything in their power to try to come out on top, which obviously didn't happen, but I'm super proud of the effort. The seniors leading the way, and looking forward to getting back to work shortly.
What was kind of the mindset going into today? Obviously last year facing North Carolina, what were you kind of looking for there in terms of that scouting and things like that?
Yeah, I knew they were going to be super eager to play us and get some revenge from last year. We actually had a really new group of players this year, so I don't think that our team overthought about the aspects of last year. They kind of just took it as a new opportunity, and we've had a lot of momentum in our most recent games, so it's been really fun to see things come together later in the season for us. And I do feel like they came together for us today in some really positive ways on our attack and even in our deeper defense. So I think they were hungry and ready to go, and again, I'm super proud of the effort and just the focus that they had for 60 minutes today.
Yeah, and you were talking about that defense a little bit. What was kind of that mindset going into today, and what were you seeing from them, especially early in the game when it was kind of back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we wanted to get them under a lot of pressure. We ended up backing off a little bit as the game went on with a little bit more calculated risk that we decided to take, which I think helped kind of slow the game down for them a little bit, and then allowed us a little bit more counterattack space. But I do feel that in the first half, we were not necessarily responding to their shape like I would have necessarily wanted to, but we made those adjustments at halftime and were able to definitely win the ball in our target areas and then get up the field pretty quickly. So
yeah. And what were you seeing on that equalizer, that first goal kind of in transition there? What kind of led to that there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the work rate from some of our midfielders and our defenders just to be really gritty and try to keep the ball outside the circle, and then just that first step when we won the ball and then trying to add numbers up in the play. And Lane Delmont, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was her first goal ever.
Certainly this year. I haven't looked at the
Yeah, I was one of the girls on the sideline was like, Lane, your first goal ever. Like, so it was pretty special because she had 4 great years at Lafayette, with her freshman year being a redshirt year, and then did her grad with us. And for her to have her first goal in a game like this at a crucial moment kind of is a testament to her. Like, she's been an absolute engine for us in the midfield, so steady all season. So I just feel like if there's anyone that deserves to kind of have a moment in the headline, it's her, because she doesn't get the stats or the recognition that she deserves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And kind of for North Carolina, what were you seeing kind of from them sort of on the offensive end as kind of the game went on?
Yeah, I mean, they have the ability to receive and go forward super fast. And I kept trying to tell our girls, let's get them to force them back. Like, don't let them turn and get their eyes up. So trying to force them back, force them to play laterally, keep us in front, defending our goal to the best of our ability. But yeah, I mean, they obviously, they have the skill, you know, they've got the really strong fundamentals, and that was evident today in some of their link up. But I'm really proud of us for shutting down the attack in many moments, and would have liked to make a few more tackles outside the circle, but you know, it is what it is. So
yeah, and you touched on it. What are kind of your takeaways and kind of the emotions after this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to watching the game back and just seeing the ebbs and flows, because I think dealing with the phases of pressure was something that, like I said, in the first half, I felt like we could have been better, but in the second half, we stepped up. We absolutely handled it. And yeah, I think just being able to regroup, figure out the areas that the returners, you know, can work on in the off season. But I also just want our girls to be proud of what they did today, the fight they gave today, and just enjoy the season we had too. Like, it's easy to just want to look ahead, but I do want to reflect on the great job our players did. And it was a bit of a roller coaster, you know, for us this season, as you can see with our score lines. But I'm, again, really proud of how we came together at the end of the season.